Hey friends, welcome back to the Empower Her Business Accelerator podcast. I'm your host, Philippa Channer, and we're deep into our December series on what it really means to run your business like a CEO, not just an employee. So far, we've talked about shifting your mindset. This was episode 208. And then we talked about delegating smartly, even as a solopreneur in episode 209. And today we're talking about one of the most transformational pieces of building a scalable and less stressful business. This is the systems and processes that we have. I know that word systems can sound overwhelming, but I promise you, once we have them in place, you wonder how you ever functioned without them. We're breaking it all down today in a way that feels doable and empowering. If this is something you've ever needed support with, that's exactly what we walk through inside the Entrepreneur Incubator. You'll get the tools, templates, and check-ins that you need to fully build a business that works for you, not one that drains you. So book a free 30-minute call with me using the link in the show notes, and we'll figure out what support is right for you and the next step of your growth. All right, so let's get into today's topic. Why are systems the secret to a sustainable business? Being busy, quote unquote busy, doesn't mean your business is healthy. In fact, many solopreneurs are stuck in the weeds, doing the same things over and over and over again with no real structure. That leads to burnout, bottlenecks, and missed opportunities. So today we're going to talk about how to create simple, streamlined systems that allow you to save time, create consistently, delegate or automate with ease, and finally start operating like a true CEO. So first thing we're going to do is start with one repetitive task. Don't try to systemize everything at once. Begin by picking one task you do on repeat. Some of these examples could be client onboarding, weekly content creation, your email newsletter setup, discovery call follow-up, or your monthly invoicing. Choose just one of those and then write down each step of the process from start to finish. When you write down these steps, I want you to be as detailed as possible. Something where a 6-year-old could pick up the steps, read it, and actually execute it. You want to be that detailed. So don't skip things. Don't assume somebody knows what you're talking about in one step. Really try to be as detailed as possible. That list of steps, this is your first system. And when you have that, you can start delegating parts of it, automating it with tools like Honeybook, MailerLite, or ClickUp, saving yourself time by following a repeatable checklist instead of starting from scratch every single time. If you need help identifying what to delegate first, go back and listen to our last episode 209, How to Delegate Even When You're Just a One-Person Business. The next step is to create simple SOPs, which are standard operation procedures. I know SOPs sounds like a corporate lingo, but hear me out. This is a game changer. Your SOP doesn't need to be fancy. It can be a Google Doc with bullet points. It could be a Loom video of you just doing the task. It can be a checklist of your project management tool. Just make sure that it includes tools used for that actual task that you're describing, the steps in the right order that they need to be done, and any links, templates, or swipe files that are needed, anything that you need to get the actual task done. So pro tip here, store these all in one place, like maybe a CEO systems hub. So future you or your future assistant, when you can hire them, doesn't have to reinvent the wheel or search and hunt for this stuff down. The next thing we can talk about to make our lives easier and get to that CEO level faster is to batch, schedule, and systemize for consistency. Once you have repeatable systems, the next step is batching and scheduling. So here's some examples of what I mean by that. You can batch your content creation one day a month. I have this podcast where you guys are listening and you guys are experiencing a new episode every Monday. I actually record all the month. So whatever month, like this month of December, there's 5 episodes. I'm recording all 5 episodes at one time. And then my editor, they may edit all 5 at the one time, or they may edit it one in a week, but I'm batching my part of the process once a month. So I'm not spending every single week repeating. I'm batching this, right? I can schedule all of my client invoices to go out automatically. Thank the Lord, I have something like Books Online, and there's tools and systems within QuickBooks to help me set that up so I don't have to constantly go in there and set up the next invoice for client. I can just set up a repeatable system or reoccurring invoicing for my client that really saves me time, saves my client time, and they know what to expect each month on the same day. And then I can also set aside a weekly CEO hour or maybe half a day to review some metrics and plan ahead and really get into that CEO mindset. That really helps. And if I can do that consistently, my business looks so much better. This is about creating rhythms in your business, not reacting to chaos every single week. So if you're struggling though with consistency, I recommend going all the way back to episode 178, which is about finding a posting frequency that works for your business, where we talked about setting a schedule that's sustainable and strategic for you and your business. All right, the next step for today is using systems to create white space, not just more work. By white space, I mean some clear breathing room around you, so you're not constantly filling that space with just things. Here's the real win with systems. They give you space, not just to do more, but to space to think strategically, to serve your clients even better, to rest without feeling guilty, and to scale with confidence. As CEOs, we're not meant to do it all. We're meant to build the infrastructure so the business can run, even when we're not at the center of every single thing. If you're constantly putting out fires, then that's a sign that you need a system to help you. All right, you don't need to be naturally organized to build systems. You need to decide that your time, energy, and brain space are too valuable to waste on things you could document once and reuse forever. Systems aren't a burden. They're a gift you give yourself and your future team. So start small, stay consistent, and soon you'll find yourself running your business with more clarity and confidence than ever before. Thanks so much for joining me today. If this episode gave you the motivation to finally start building your business systems, then I'm cheering you on every step of the way. If you want support designing and implementing systems that are tailored to your specific business, the Entrepreneur Incubator is the place to be. Inside, you're going to get the clarity, structure, and accountability you need to step into your role as a CEO. Click on the link in the show notes to schedule your 30-minute session and see what your next 4 months could look like for you. Next week, we're going to be wrapping up our December series with a big picture conversation on building your long-term business vision and strategy, how to think like a future-forward leader, even as a solopreneur. Until then, keep building smarter, not harder, and keep shining.